This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf, and it's available in print in 14 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online. Get it at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life and co-owner with my co-host of the Leaf magazines, Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's AJOG.
Hola, aloha OGs.
And Mary J. White.
Baked with love.
In all matter, atoms and molecules are in constant motion, creating energy. And when it comes to our bodies, tapping into and directing the flow of this power can have an impactful effect on our physical, mental, and spiritual health. This is frequency healing.
Higher frequencies.
That's what we're all about.
That's right.
All right. So our first segment is going to be We Are Made of Frequency. It's true. You know, every little drop of blood, Mary, and vibrations in sound for our second segment. But before we get educated, we have to get medicated with a capital H.
Yes.
So let's get stoned.
Bring it on, baby.
All right, warming up here, folks. Warming up. It's going to be a fun one. I love this shit. Yes. We're going to talk about sound baths and stuff. But before we get educated, we already got medicated. We're getting stoned, right? So wherever your day has led you now, it's time to fire up, chew up, or drink up. Get in the mood. Because we're going to introduce this show's Greg the Guinea Pig.
Hi, I'm Greg, and Ricker used to try his weed out on me. But now it's someone else's turn to be the guinea pig.
All right. Dawn Torres, her second time here. She's a Reiki master, a yoga teacher, and a sound healer. Dawn, it is truly a pleasure to have you back in the Leaf Life studio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
so
amazing,
much.
and your vibe is like intoxicating. So I couldn't wait. You know, it's about every year, you know, we'll get somebody for a second or third time. We give it some space, but you're one of our favorites.
That's
I think The
true.
Power of Healing was the first show.
I think so.
Yeah, it's,
Something
you
like
know,
that.
I mean, 200 and what? This is 265?
No kidding.
That's a lot of shows,
That's
Mary.
a lot of damn
Wow.
shows.
A lot of work.
Yes, champion.
So let's spin AJ's wheel. Hey, we're going to have a pinch hitter today.
Now, what's in AJ's stash?
Okay, we're gonna see what's AJ's stash, but we're gonna call on a pinch hitter, and that's gonna be AJ because Dawn is a super lightweight.
That's true.
All right.
So we've got Airo pods, Black Mamba, Citrus, and Blackberry today. This is a sativa.
Yeah.
It's a distillate, and we're about to try this right here. It's got some bomb terpenes infused.
Yeah. So Airo is, you know, they make this vibrating battery that's been popular for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
It definitely
Haptic.
vibrates,
Yeah.
It's a strong vibration, actually.
What is the
Speaking
vibrations?
of vibrations,
Yeah.
yes.
There's a lot of frequency in that vape cart right there.
Also, yes, it's very flavorful, you guys. A lot of beautiful, like, blueberry and, like, lemon terps going on here.
Cool.
What's the purpose of the vibration? Sorry to interrupt. but
Yeah.
Like we have to tell you that, man?
It's not like you can put it in your circus.
Be
area
hard
and
to
smoke
hit it.
You know,
and-
because I honestly believe it's because distillates get, like, kind of sticky and sometimes...
No, sorry.
No?
It's
Okay.
haptic.
West knows.
It's haptic feedback. So it just lets
It's
you
just
know.
for fun.
Okay.
It lets you
Yeah.
know that it's working.
Okay.
So
go.
if it's not buzzing, it's not working.
That's what
So
I
you don't
always
think that's
say.
to do with the stickiness?
No.
There you go.
But that sounded good.
But it's not a 510 thread count, is it? You just drop the cartridge in there and it's
Yeah,
magnetic.
it looks like, oh yeah, it's magnetic, y'all. Well, it comes in the package ready to go for you, but as you can see, it's reusable, and that makes me super stoked.
Yeah, it's
Right
not
on.
a disposable. So you
Yeah.
can get different Airo carts or Airo pods, as
All
they're
right,
called.
shout out to Airo, thank you.
Yeah, and here in Washington, Harmony is their partner. You know, they just make this really cool device that makes smoking fun. Really, if it vibrates, it's like, hell yeah. There's
Then it's
frequency in that thing. There's, you know, we are made of frequency, just as that is as well.
Yeah.
Everything, like I said in the open, is constantly moving. If you look at this table right there from a molecular level, from like a microscope and a microscope and a microscope, you'll see that the molecules and atoms are in furious motion. And the faster they turn, the harder the surface is. And air, anything that's made up of molecules and atoms, is moving. So the universe is in constant motion all the time. Frequency, because it's frequent, Dawn. Right?
That was good, Mike.
Look at that. Huh?
I know. Where do we want to go with this frequency talk today?
Well, I mean, you're into healing, into, spiritual healing, and frequency is a huge part of that.
Yes.
In the second segment, we'll talk about sound bowls and the actual application of moving frequency through your body. Even massage, is moving things around to create space, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what frequency healing is creating space. Because there's constant flooding of motion and activity. And sometimes, even though the world never stops and New York never sleeps, it's nice to slow things down and create open areas for us to, have a broader, more healthy perspective of this maniacal amalgamation of bones and blood and flesh and trees and everything. It's overwhelming sometimes, especially when you add marketing, right? Advertising, billboards and television and stresses of modernity like traffic and stuff. When you live in the big city like we do, you just fucking need space.
Yeah, I got to go home now.
I know. He's like, I need more space. We need to change the energy now. No. I think you said a lot, or some of healing is about energy, frequency, vibration. I think it all is. Like, that's really always the way I'm looking at it. So working with Reiki, sound healing, and other modalities, it's always in my mind going back to that, whether we say it or not. So yeah. And on the one hand, you're saying slow it down, but usually I more think of it as speed it up. The world's going fast, but it's not going fast necessarily in the right way. So our atoms, our subatomic particles, things are moving. But in truth, when when people are depressed, when they're frustrated, when they're sad, then literally everything's moving slower. So the more sad, down, anger's better than grief or sadness in terms of at least there's movement. So it's really more that things slow down and get sticky and sluggish and get stuck in the body in terms of that. And so even though there can look like there's a fast pace going on, people can have a lot of glitches or sticks happening in the body. And so that's, for me, is getting in there with Reiki or looking at the body in different ways, is going, where is that stuckness happening? Could be heart, could be head, anywhere. And so then kind of what you're saying is using frequency, whether it's Reiki or the bowls. The bowls are just such a great way to do it. No thought, no nothing. But yeah, it's like they get everything going, as we talked about that, right? That they get everything going in this perfect, vibrational frequency. And the way I look at it is like a snow globe. You shake a snow globe up where everything just fell to the bottom and got stuck and sticky. And then that creates that space. As things start moving around again, things that need to be dislodged can move, and that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's kind of just a real short version of how I look at it. Somebody's coming in privately or, in a sound bath, a group situation, it's different because you're just trying to collectively move the energy in the whole room. But regardless, like, that's what's happening. Those bowls the frequency is so high. They're all moving at those, highest frequencies that we know are healthiest for our body, that the planet, when it's not having anything going on with it, is vibrating at. So we're just trying to get everything up to there and get our bodies to re-entrain. So you said when the world is so crazy, and if somebody's in that crazy long enough, we start to go that way. That's why we start to feel all those things that don't feel so good. So it's just bumping us back into the frequencies that are best for us so that we can kind of keep lodging back into that. So that's mostly how I think of the work.
Can you use the sound healing then? Almost medically?
100%.
Yes,
okay. 100%.
And we'll talk about vibrations and sound in the second segment. But I want to stick to the body, really.
Okay.
And it's about unclogging the dam.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Because we get, clogs in your arteries or clogs in your brain, and by that I mean overwhelming stresses and such.
Yeah.
And it is about unclogging.
Right.
It's about taking Drano, pouring it down your mouth and drinking it, and just
Don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
Use a sound bowl. Don't drink the Drano.
But that is, we are made of frequency.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
but sometimes that frequency, I guess, gets kind of glitchy.
Frequently.
Most
of it, I think for most people, though, because I was thinking on my drive here, like for most people, if this sounds kind of out there, like, well, vibrations and frequencies, how does that help me in my day-to-day life? So for the most part, again, nature, things are always fine. Things are always fine unless there's resistance to it. So as humans, we're bumping around in our lives and everything's just fine. But the minute I decide it's not, somebody says something, it pissed me off, now I'm not fine. And if I hold on to that for the rest of the day, so now that's a sticky thing. If I hold on to it all week, so it's like that.
Yeah.
Conditional.
It's like anything we're in resistance to, or that my mind starts holding on to something that I perceive as negative. So it's really that. It's thoughts that create feelings. And if those feelings go without being processed, again, it's resistance that's unprocessed. That's the sticky stuff. So imagine we meet people walking down the street where you can see a lifetime of bitterness or anger, like their body shows it.
Totally.
But I can really see it's just like patches of gunk, right? Just bitterness from a heart that's just held on to every bit of pain and the anger that's in there. And I don't know, you think about if we got to get in there and stir that up and use sound bowls and let that just, for them. But yeah, it's just all held in there and not processed. But yeah, it always starts with thoughts and perceptions of what's happening for us because it's all frequency. So if I'm holding a perception, that's wrong, that sucks, that's bad, it's a lower vibration.
And cannabis can change that, can't it?
Yes, 100%.
Cannabis can provide good energy 100%. And good thoughts, which influence the rest of your body.
Yes. Well, I mean, everything's energy. And I'm even thinking when you say cannabis, you look at frequency based on how was it grown? Where was it grown? What was the intention with how it's grown? Just like the bowls, I brought one of my Tibetans. I love the big hand hammered bowls because the whole time they're hammering it, as they're forming it, they're chanting mantra. They're chanting really healing mantra.
Beautiful.
So the energy of mantras in the bowl. And then when you're using that vibration, the mantra is being sent out too. So it's so powerful.
I'm sorry, what's the word?
A mantra?
Like a mantra.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm being Sanskrit-y in my pronunciation. Mantra.
The whole process
mantra.
is ceremony.
Yeah.
From the creation of the bowl to utilizing the bowl. It's all ceremony, which is really incredible.
100%.
I have a rule of in my book of how to navigate the game of life, you know, I like to ask myself, okay, does this feel heavy?
Yes.
Or does this feel light? You know, and it's a really good governance. I wish we were teaching kids this in school, honestly, because it can really help you make a lot of, powerful decisions. And sometimes even if it's feeling heavy, I still might want to do it, and you can still make that choice. But at least you checked in with your body. Your body gave you a governance and let you know, okay, this is where I'm resonating. Yeah, and then you make your decision moving forward.
Well, even teaching people to know what heavy and light is, because by the time I see people, especially as they get older, so many people are disconnected with what they feel. They don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so if I'm working with somebody who's really got a lot going on in their life and it's so what do you want? I don't know. Such a disconnection.
Yeah.
So, coming back to cannabis or anything else where we go, what do we use or what can we infuse or give somebody that, because it shifts perspective, right? It shifts what's happening in the body. It shifts what's happening in the mind. So yeah, it can be a great tool.
All right. Now we'll get into the second segment, vibrations and sound. But first, it's time, Dawn, for you to play Legalize It.
From who's the dipshit who came up with this law file? You gotta wonder how some of these laws were even passed. This is Legalize It.
All right, Dawn. In some states, it's true, they're still partying like it's 1899. Oh, yes. So you're going to have to tell me what the state is. All right?
All right.
That this wonky law is actually happening, or laws.
Okay.
All right, number one. In this state, not only is it illegal to cry on the witness stand, but it is illegal to drive more than 2,000 sheep down Hollywood Boulevard at one time.
What? California.
That's correct.
Well, there's only one Hollywood Boulevard.
And the fact that I'm not high, I could. It's really good.
Well, the trick is you're supposed to be high and fall for that
I
one.
know.
Right? By the way, just to be naughty, I tried at 4 a.m. and got away with it. So hopefully no security cameras got me on tape. Yeah, I walked 2,000 sheep down Hollywood Boulevard, Mary.
That's nice.
4 a.m.
All right, number two. In this southern state, not only is it illegal to not inform your neighbor that their house is on fire, but if an elephant is left tied to a parking meter, the parking fee has to be paid just as it would for a vehicle.
This is for real.
For real.
This is for real.
It's a southern state.
Georgia.
That's a good guess, but it's Florida. I mean, come on.
Elephants. Where do elephants roam? That's like
they could have wandered over to Georgia. You never know.
I'm just trying to understand where the elephants roam free in the U.S.
I don't know.
We used to have woolly mammoths here, but
by the way, there is no law that applies to bearded loraxes being tied up. But there has never been one in Florida until a couple years ago, and it most likely will never return after suffering second-degree sunburn on its feet.
Oh no!
Yes.
Poor little lorax.
Just had him waxed, so lost that fur, protection.
Those hobbits, that hobbit toe.
Yeah, a little fur, goes a long way.
And number 3, in this upper Midwestern state, you're not allowed to park your elephant on Main Street. And in the city of Brainerd, every man is required by law to grow a beard.
Really?
True story.
Hell yes.
Yeah, that's
Why are there so many elephant laws?
Really,
there's
elephants.
elephant laws everywhere.
Or at least try to grow a beard.
I have no idea.
If you had an elephant, you would understand. But since you don't have an elephant, okay.
I do have an elephant actually at home. I do. There's always an elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's a pigmy elephant.
Just not a real one.
Figurative. Midwestern state up there with all the lakes.
Michigan.
I'm taking Mary's.
That's
Michigan.
wrong.
Oh, thanks anyway, Mary. What is it?
With all the lakes.
Minnesota.
Hey.
Of course, the Minnesotans would have elephants that they ride.
Of course they do.
Why so many states are worried about the elephants?
Isn't that interesting?
Probably the zoo situation.
Did I miss a part of history? Was there like an elephant invasion in the U.S.? Because that's like my dream. That's like my lifetime dream.
Hey, if you want to discover cannabis news, reviews, entertainment, and culture, and explore every Leaf magazine at your convenience, search leafmagazines.com. Coming up in our second segment, we'll dive into how vibrations in sound, including sound baths, can be real medicine. We'll get another spin of AJ's wheel and kick it all off with another episode of Not for Nothing with Mary J. White. Leaf Life continues in just a moment.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.
Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.